think I played, good enough. If I'm being real with you. If I'm being real with myself, I think if I did play well enough, I don't think there would be any sort of who should be playing, who should not. So at the end of the day, we got a few wins. Of course, I'm glad about that, but there's areas that I could be better at, and I'm just gonna continue to work on those and continue to get better.
Now that shit right there. That's why I would like to see what Fields got for another week at least. That's why I would like to stick with Fields. Because even he knows he could be playing better. But just the fact that he's been playing good thus far and we're sitting at 4-2 makes me think there could be a lot more to this thing. There could be a lot more to this offense if we roll with Fields. I mean, the line hasn't really done him any favors. There's obviously been penalties holding back the offense. But I think he's been making the most of it for the most part. I mean, he's had his hiccups here and there, but damn, if we're looking for perfection out of this offense and out of this quarterback, game in and game out, we're going to be disappointed every time. There's only one Mahomes. There's only a handful of elite guys in the league right now. But I think, based off these first 6 games of seeing Fields in a new uniform within a new organization, he might be able to get to that point. So big respect to Fields for what he said here, because he also is being truthful. The door is open. He didn't shut the door completely. So he knows. And he can get better. But he's not going to be able to necessarily get better to the degree that he would if he was still out there playing, getting the experience. But, sitting behind a Hall of Famer, I don't think that's going to hurt either. It would be better to get the experience. It would be better to get the on-field snaps. But being able to take a step back, see Russell Wilson out there, also not the worst thing either. And I don't think Russell Wilson being the starter this week is the end of the world. But this just goes to show even more that with this decision to start Russ over Fields, we're not losing Fields because he is a great teammate. He is a professional. He does have his head on straight. He is a leader. All that stuff, man, that's what you get from Fields, and that's what we've been seeing from him thus far in Pittsburgh. And his answer at the podium today is just another reflection of that, because he could flip it in a whole different direction and say, man, I'm sitting here with a winning record, 10 touchdowns, only 1 turnover up to this point. What else you want me to do? Yeah, I do feel like I played good enough. I do feel like this was my job to lose, and I didn't lose it. It ain't my fault we're 4-2. If it was up to me, we'd be 5-1, 6-0. Look at the other guys on the offense. He could go that direction. Now, that's extreme for sure. But the way he answered that, it's just pure class. So shout out to Fields. I would stick with him, but we're not. We're going with Russ. And actually, according to Albert Breer, NFL Insider, there's a lot within the Steelers organization that would stick with Fields and are questioning Tomlin's decision to go with Russ.
Every indication I've gotten is that the people in that building love Justin Fields. Coaches, players, there are a lot of folks in that facility that do not want Mike Tomlin to go away from Justin Fields right now. That feel like Fields is representative of what they are as a football team, helps them in the running game. No, he's not perfect as a passer, but he's doing plenty, and he's going to keep getting better, and he has improved week over week. And that, and I know Arthur Smith in Tennessee was, ran the reclamation project essentially of Ryan Tannehill. They feel like they can do more with Fields than they were able to do with Tannehill in Tennessee.
Definitely interesting. I guess we're just going to have to sit back and trust that Tomlin knows what he's doing here. Because this is a Tomlin decision. This is going to be falling on Tomlin one way or another. If it fails or if it's good. And this is backed up by a report by Mike Garafolo. Should we have the greatest of faith in Tomlin in this circumstance? I think it could be up for debate, seeing how these last, 3 years played out with the offense and the quarterback position, going back to Ben's last season, and us hiring Canada and us moving off of Ben, a.k.a. the sabotage, if you know, you know. And then moving into the Mitch/Kenny era and having Mason sitting on the bench this whole time. and having Matt Canada stick around here for 2.5 years. I think it's safe to have questions, but I also don't think going to Russell Wilson is the worst decision either. I think this is a toss of a coin. Like, again, there's a ton of reasons why you'd want to stick with Justin. There's some reasons why you'd want to go with Russ. It's because it's Russell Wilson. Has a Hall of Fame pedigree. For the majority of his career, he has played like an elite quarterback. These last 2 years in Denver, if you want to call it a year and a half, maybe those are the outliers. Maybe Russell Wilson is in a better spot with the Steelers, where we run an offense, we run a scheme more tailored to his skill set, and we're going to look at those Broncos years and say, like, yeah, they sabotaged him there. Look what happened when Russ got to a place that actually, like, backed him up. This is what he's capable of. This is what he's still capable of, even at 35. He's going to have this whole second stint to his career. Like, that's a possibility, too. Yeah, it's just interesting to hear that not everyone's all in on Russ, like Tomlin. But I think this is just how Tomlin operates. I think Russell Wilson is the type of guy, you know, the skill set, the pedigree, the experience, all that stuff, the veteran savvy, all that stuff is what Tomlin values more than others. So let's just say if Arthur Smith was the head coach here, maybe we would be sticking with Fields. But Tomlin is who Tomlin is for a reason. Like, he is objectively a good coach, and I think he's earned the right to make decisions like this. So we'll see how it plays out, man. We'll definitely see how it plays out. You got other guys, though. This is a very polarizing topic. This is a very polarizing debate because everybody, no matter who you're talking about, like fans, former coaches, former great coaches, former players, former great players, like everyone's got a different opinion on this. So like Tomlin, he's obviously going with Russ, but then you have Bill Belichick on his podcast just a few days ago, basically saying that he would stick with Fields because Russ coming in, he's got to knock off the rust, and he hasn't been playing for 6 weeks, whereas you have Fields playing really good, and it's got to be a guarantee, in his opinion, that Russ is going to be better than Fields. And in my opinion, I don't think that is a guarantee, at least not right away.
Right. Well, again, Russell hasn't played in a couple of months now when you go back to the end of preseason and now the regular season. So I think you go with that quarterback when you're sure that he's going to upgrade your team. If you're not sure, you probably stay with where you're at. But it's hard for a guy who just hasn't played much. I mean, look, Russell's a veteran quarterback, and that guy knows how to play, but he just hasn't had the timing and the live snaps because he certainly didn't get him in preseason.
No.
So it's it's a tough task to come in there at this point in the season with really no reps.
Yeah.
So let me know your thoughts down in the comments on Fields' reaction to being QB2. Even though a decision hasn't necessarily been made yet, all signs are pointing to Russell Wilson starting. You heard how Fields was talking there. And if you want to listen to the rest of his interview too, like, he knows. He knows he's going to be QB2. He knows Russell Wilson starting. I think everyone knows except for, I don't know who doesn't know, actually, at this point. Even though the official announcement wasn't made, I think everyone knows that Russell Wilson is starting Sunday night against the Jets. But let me know your thoughts. This is just more information on the quarterback situation and the quarterback decision I thought you guys would want to hear. So stay chilling. Have a good rest of the day. Have a good rest of Thursday. And peace.